so stupidly easy looking. Oh my gosh.
I can't hang on any longer, dude.
Clint, hang on, man. Hang on.
Hang on. Ah! Blast door open. Blast pad acquired.
What is this?
This is a crash pad. I've been wanting one of these my entire life.
What's a crash pad?
Crash pad is what you can jump onto from high distances and not hurt yourself.
Whoa.
Yeah. They're kind of hard to find.
What?
It doesn't feel all that soft. They're hard to find because they're a very specialty piece of hardware. Like gymnastics or rock climbing.
Is this what the big Hollywood stunt guys use?
This is what the big Hollywood stunt guys use. In fact, we bought it from big Hollywood stunt guys. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Oh snap, is that what I think it is? With a trifold if you need it flat and big.
What the heck?
You're on the wrong side.
It's the mesh side up.
Yes.
Really?
What? Yes.
Yeah, this is to protect it from the dirt. This is no protection from the dirt.
Yeah, you don't want rocks in here.
Yeah, you don't want rocks in there. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
If anything, the rocks are gonna get trapped in there, son.
Definitely like this.
But because you can jump on it.
Hold up.
You know what I mean?
Oh shit! Yeah, we want this side.
You're supposed to break it in. No, the whole thing.
Wait, Nico.
Yeah.
You said how do you break it in?
Yeah, how do you break it in?
Let me show you.
See,
Hasn't broken yet.
Wow.
A little bit, a couple
like
hundred
right on
times.
your face.
I gotta feel it out. Nico, be careful. Oh, it's stiff.
Remember what Brett taught you?
Remember what Brett taught me?
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Did someone say header? Yo, I can do that too.
Ooh.
Hey, I could do that also, again, one more.
Whoa.
You're not gonna back.
Whoa! Damn, I didn't know you had that in you, Wes.
He's off his Jackie Chan.
Match in it.
Ooh. Still breaking it in, man. Breaking it in.
Wait, what? What? Where did this come from?
I got it.
I went to the bathroom for like 1 minute. Woo!
Nice.
If we put this under the railing,
Oh, that just hurt.
What does it taste like?
I just can't taste right now. My brain molecules.
Did that actually hurt?
This is supposed to be safe, Nico.
Ren doesn't have brain damage. He's just always like that.
He's fine.
That's how he contemplates.
I have a crash pad inside of the skull, so his brain's still hitting the skull.
tripping on the crash pad, so.
I like how we're doing this around the most dangerous things we could be doing this around. Like there's a guillotine here. There's
E-bikes, a computer.
expensive computer here.
Here he goes. Just setting up for something.
Whoa.
Just goes limp.
How did that feel?
Great, dude. Better than it feels when you're on concrete.
Oh yeah, I bet.
We must jump from higher things.
The ground is not high enough.
Official now. This is not that.
Ren, we gotta work our way up to it.
Ren's like ready for
We
it.
gotta work our way up to it.
Push the cliff. Jump.
Ren, we gotta work our way up to it, god dang it.
Yeah, you gotta like.
Ren!
warm up to this, Ren.
Don't do it, Ren! Wait, Clint.
Someone else warm up first.
Don't fall on me.
Yeah. I don't know if this is such a good idea.
Whoa!
You landing your back?
No, I'm not landing on my back. I'm just gonna land on my feet. Yeah, see, it's super easy.
What does the back do? Isn't it gonna like knock the wind out of you? Right?
I mean, if you don't roll into it properly, yeah, there are proper ways to fall on a crash pad. We are having fun breaking it in, but head first, stiffen up.
Ren?
It solid.
That is, you feel the acceleration. Oh my God. Just that extra like 4 or 5 feet there is a big difference.
You scared, bro?
Heads up though. I can't hang on any longer, dude.
Clint, hang on, man. Hang on. Hang on.
Hang on.
just took the camera out, dude. I know.
You see his shoe? His shoe went up there.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll catch you guys later. I gotta go.
Oh, dude. Are you alright, man? Oh. Clint, here's your glasses, dude.
I really gotta get going though, dude. No, for real, I gotta get going, guys.
Here, man.
Let's go. You go. Catch you later, dude. I'll see you later. Peace out.
Oh, did you actually hurt yourself because you didn't take your backpack off?
No, for real, I gotta go though. I gotta go. I'll catch you guys. Catch you guys later.
Dude, get out of here, man. You're
Alright,
fucking crazy.
Wait, Clint, you got your phone. We got you. Whoa! Why is that so squishy?
I don't know if that was a squishy sound more than a fart from Clint. Oh, it smells bad. Oh my god.
I would double check your pants, man. That one didn't smell there.
Alright, for real this time, for real. I'm leaving.
Bye, Clint.
Alright, see you, dude. I'll send you guys this time. Dude, you guys gotta keep. Alright, for real?
He forgot his bag.
Gotta move the crash pad.
Alright. Let's move
Because
now.
like when I come rushing back in to get my bag, like if it's right in the middle of the door, like I'm gonna fall over. And yeah, we'll move it. We'll move it. Okay.
That's how I shake hands now.
And haven't we bullied Clint enough, guys? Dude, oh, I get it. Boss Town 3. Boss Town 3.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Yeah. Okay.
Building boss on 3 right now, Clint.
Hey, are you Clint?
So today we're with Chris, who works at Leica, and he has brought a very special piece of technology that I've just been oogling over for many, many years here. As you know, we like to recreate like digital environments in many ways. Sometimes we'll take like an HDR scan of an environment to project lighting and materials and reflections onto digital characters. Other times, like in anime self-driving cars, we'll like photo scan an entire environment with like a drone and stitch all the photos together and map it out to create a virtual environment. But Chris here has brought a special tool that can kind of do all that in one.
So this is the Leica BLK 360. It's a 3D scanner using LiDAR. It's also got HDR imagery capabilities. Typically used more in the construction space and capturing 3D scenes, but to a couple millimeter accuracy. But now we're starting to get into getting some traction in the visual effects industry, and that's why we kind of teamed up with you guys to try and check out some of those workflows.
Our goal for today is to photo scan our studio and the loading dock and basically get a 3D model and a digital recreation of our entire workspace for further use.
So LiDAR is using a laser from the inside, as you can see here. The laser's on the inside and it hits this mirror, this 45-degree angle mirror, and then that mirror spins and it shoots out a laser point, and using time of flight technology, it's bouncing back and takes a measured data point. And so the data itself is actually scaled, but because of that, as this rotates, then this whole thing spins. You've got a single laser beam kind of going like this, and then it rotates 180 degrees, but then you're collecting, full 360 because you're capturing that slice all at once.
So it can reconstruct the space in 3 dimensions instead of just 2.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow. Is there a camera on this as well then somewhere?
Yeah, there actually is. There's 3 cameras right here. So as it goes around, it's first stage, it goes around, each one takes a snapshot. If you got the HDR turned on, it's 3 stage, so each one will fire off at 3 different lighting settings, and then as that goes around, it does 10 stops, so you essentially end up with 30 photos that are stitched together into one total of 150 megapixel image. So from a single location, when it shoots out, it's got a maximum range of 60 meters, so about 200 feet. So that's in full 360. Essentially, the only kind of blind spot is pretty much the footprint of the actual tripod right here. But anyway, just because that's just from one location, but as you do multiple setups, you go along, and as long as you have it set up so that there's overlapping data, you can register those together, so you can do entire building and go from room to room. Doesn't matter. There's really no limit on that.
Yeah. Here in our loading dock, I can give you guys the best example of why this technology is really special to us. When we filmed our Boston Dynamics video, in order to get that robot looking like it's naturally in the scene, we would take our Insta360 cameras and we would scan a 360 HDR of this environment. And that image basically allows us to separate the bright points from the dark points and basically light our scene. So if you look around here, you can see there's like some lights there, we got some lights up here, you know, and it basically, yeah, it's able to tell us where our light sources are coming from. However, when you scan a 360 HDR of an environment, you're basically getting a giant sphere. That's what your image ends up looking like. You get a sphere that surrounds your environment. The problem though is that sphere, it's not in 3 dimensions here, it's in 2. Imagine I'm inside a sphere here of light, but the problem is that when you scan it in 2 dimensions, that light sphere has to kind of move with you because it's at an infinite distance. It doesn't actually move with your scene or anything like that. So when you have an issue like this, where you have a scene that has a single top light, when you scan your HDR, whenever the character is standing directly beneath the light, it's going to look completely natural. But suddenly, if the character steps in 3D space away from it, that 360 HDR, it's not going to move away. It's going to stick with your scene. So when it came time to render that video and light it and do all that stuff, we had to basically go through and in 3 dimensions put light sources back where they were. So that made it so we couldn't like actually rely on just our image map to recreate the scene. However, when you start using this and you have the LiDAR that actually scans your environment in 3 dimensions, you can feasibly have a fully functioning 3D lighting environment. It's a long-winded explanation, but I feel like that's as concise as I can possibly make it. But for real. So yeah, basically it makes it so your lights stick where they need to be.
So we do have, you know, a few different settings if you want on here. We can do, you know, low res, medium res, high res. So that's just a number of actual points you're taking. You know, then you can change the imagery to be LDR or HDR. So, you know, the longer, the higher resolution the actual point cloud is, the longer it takes. So it can range anywhere from, you know, a 40-second scan all the way up to about 6-minute scan, depending on the settings you use.
So loading dock's done. We're gonna start we're gonna chart our course from the loading dock back into the studio. So the scan's done. How many scans was that? Like, we went through the loading dock, through the hallway, studio, and a couple of the cool rooms here.
Yeah, so we did about 13, 14 scans.
So how are we gonna put all this data together?
And all these scans really don't know where they are in 3D space, so it all comes to overlapping data. So every time we set it up, we make sure there's overlapping data between those, and then essentially like putting a puzzle together. We just have to pretty much help it out a little bit. So here's an example of a top-down view of the scans we've taken. These chunks, this chunk over here is one bundle that's all been together, and I've got two other scans that have not been registered yet. So all I have to do, I know this was over in front of the airsoft stuff, so if I just hit this link, press this scan right here, we've now got this top down just between these two, and we'll hit optimize and just see it snaps them together. We hit create link. So we'll do that one more time with this scan over here, just get it close to where it should be, say hey, register with that one, hit optimize, and it snaps it together.
Oh my god.
Create link.
That's so stupidly easy looking. Because honestly, like, of all the scans we've done though, like, piecing multiple scans together is by far the most difficult thing I've ever tried to do.
It comes together a little bit more seamless. Well, cool, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
well,
it.
yeah, man, thank you so much for coming by, making the time to come out here.
Yeah.
I know you have a packed schedule showing.
Sure.
Everyone wants to see this.
Yeah, right.
So I'm really glad we got to do this, and hopefully we can get this out to you guys so that way you can take a look and see what our studio's like without having to fly out here.